Consistency day 112. Don't be afraid to stick out. Too many times we spend the majority of our lives trying to fit in, trying to blend into the background, trying to, not be the person that, is ostracized or sticks out too much because we don't want to be, highlighted. We don't want to be ostracized or, talked about. And I think the problem is we need to stand out. Like, we are original beings. We're people called to do great things. We're not meant to be invisible. We're not supposed to be shrinking ourselves, to make others comfortable. We're not supposed to, think of ourselves less than others. And we're also meant to go take risks. We're meant to go out and try to do great things and make stories and make memories and make a life worth living, but a life worth lived. Too many times, we just want to stick in and, don't do anything to ruffle anybody's feathers. But speaking out doesn't mean that you're being, negative or disrespectful. It just means you're being bold. It means you're being courageous. It means you're taking a risk. You're trying to do something worth living. You have an opinion that you think is worth being valued. And that is a true statement, because that's how things come to life. That's how everything becomes better, with people being able to collaborate and express ideas and be creative in their own ways. And I think too many times people play it small. They belittle themselves and they try not to be, the nail that gets hammered. They don't want to be the nail that sticks out because they're afraid of what their boss might say. They're afraid of what social media might say. They're afraid of what their family or peers may say. But have you ever considered that they might not even have an opinion at all, that what they think of you doesn't even matter, because within the next 100 years, nobody's going to remember who you were anyway, obviously, unless you do achieve something, magnificent and become a historical figure. And if you do, then doesn't that mean, standing out, being bold was worth it? That means you changed something for the better. That means you had you did something better for humanity. If there's stories wrote about you, or you did something, technically, I guess you could do something bad and be popular as well. But even if that's the case, that means you still showed the world something that it needed to see. And even if it's something bad, like, it helps us prevent it happening again, a war or, something, like World War II. And we know all the repercussions of that and what caused that and that type of stuff. But, like, using that as an example. But all in all, like, go out, be loud, be bold, take risk, don't be afraid to not leave, don't be afraid to leave your front porch. Like, go make things happen. Speak up in that meeting at work. Speak up in your, in your college class. Like, say something, express your ideas. And, worst case, you do say something stupid every now and then, but you're still learning. And I think that's the thing. We don't need to try to seek to be invisible or seek to blend in. We need to strive to stand out. And that doesn't mean, if you're an introvert, that doesn't mean you need to be an extrovert. That doesn't mean you need to, try to actually speak up a lot more. But you could still have comments and ideas and express them. You can still post certain things on social medias or certain platforms. You can still raise your hand in class and say something. You can still raise your hand in a meeting, or wait till you get into your one-on-one meeting with your manager and still say things, express ideas, or try to be something that, that you were taught you are. People are taught how they act. Like, I have a background in psychology and, a kid that is told they're shy a lot has a better chance of growing up to be shy and to be consider themselves like an introvert versus an extrovert. But it's also kind of like a learned behavior, because once you get called shy once, it kind of becomes like this stigma against you. And now you start to do things and behave shy, because as a kid, that's when you're most, impressionable. That's when you have the most things that are told to you or said to you, and they have an effect not only through your childhood, but also into your adulthood. So I think a lot of times we're taught to be, shy. We're taught and conditioned to be quiet and not to speak up and not to express your idea and to just stick in with the crowd, follow what everybody else is doing. But true happiness, I think, comes from watching the crowd and doing the complete opposite. But how many people have mental health issues, depression, anxiety? How many people are living paycheck to paycheck? How many people are in relationships that are ending to divorce or breakup? How many people are not even in their kids' lives? How many people are unsatisfied in their career? So if the majority of people are these things, why should we try to stick into that crowd? Why should we try to follow that crowd? We should observe what they're doing and do the complete opposite if that's the case. So don't be afraid to stick out and stand out. Like, be yourself, be your authentic self, and don't apologize for it. Be unapologetic. Now, don't do stuff that's destroying or disrupting humanity. Don't go be, a criminal or go do something crazy. Don't go out and start killing people. But like, stand out, voice your opinions, have a, obviously opinions aren't the end all be all. They're not facts. So you can have a bad opinion. You can have a wrong opinion. Try to have an, educational opinion, but go out and be curious. Go out, seeking to discuss, to have a public sphere where you're discussing ideas, not just shooting somebody else's idea down. So don't go out and be like that person that's on Twitter or like Reddit and just shooting down everybody else's ideas or business models or, educations and things like that. Go out, do it with the purpose of, I'm going to help other people. I'm going to at least have, intelligent conversations, intelligent debates, that type of stuff. But yeah, don't belittle yourself. Don't try to shrink yourself down to make everybody else comfortable. Be you and go make great things happen. And I wish you peace and blessings on the journey.